back to another episode of Two Average Husbands. I'm your host, Jake.
And I'm your host, Kyle. Welcome back, everybody. This is also Lewis, featured in the bottom of the screen, as always. Probably going to roll on the keyboard 15,000 times while we're in the middle of this podcast. But welcome back to another episode of Two Average Husbands. We're happy to have you here, listening, watching, hanging out with us live. For the young bucks that like to hang out in the Discord, I'm hopping in there right now, so feel free to hop in there. I'm probably a few messages behind, but I'll catch up right now. We live. Posted in the chat. Okay. Boom. In the meantime, Jake, I am woefully unprepared, but I'm preparing immediately. Here we go. Is it here, or H-E-A-R when somebody says here? H-E-R-E, or H-E-A-R?
I'm going to go with H-E-A-R.
Yes. It is used to be a repeated form of hear, him, and they got tired of saying the him part, so they just started saying here, which is a representation of a listener's agreement with the point being made by the speaker, as if you're drawing attention to, in this case, because it was a bunch of misogynists, him, here, right? So pointing to him, here to him. There you go. There's your fun fact for the day. That's where it came from. That's the right spelling.
Yeah, so I guess my random context clues that I was making up for myself kind of worked.
Yeah, pretty much all you needed to know.
It be that way sometimes. But the more important part of the show, Kyle.
Oh, God. I was going to say, I almost had to cut you off so you wouldn't steal my line because I forgot. I'm out of my game. We had those couple weeks off and it just completely threw me off.
I know. You got to get back in a rhythm.
All right. So I wanted to drink something else, but I forgot to put them in the fridge so they were warm and I didn't want to waste a good beer on the warmth. And I had these cold. So we're going to try these out. Michelob Ultra came out with a seltzer. I've got two of their flavors. I'm going to try them both on the podcast today. And I'm going to start off with blueberry watermelon. Organic seltzer at only 90 calories.
You'll have to let me know how they are because Jess was asking about them like a week or two ago. And I was like, honestly, I haven't had them. So
spoiler alert, they're good. I've tried other flavors.
Nice.
Because we got a combo pack and these are two that I have not tried, I don't think.
I was inspired by your beers last week.
Nice.
So I am on the pumpkin beers this week.
Hell yeah, brother.
So I'm going to start off with a tried and true favorite of mine, but it's a limited release every year, so I get to claim it new every single year. It is Pump King Nitro. It is their Imperial Pumpkin Ale with cold brew coffee. So we are ready for pumpkin season.
I feel like I need to address something that I forgot to talk about last episode before we get rolling into this. And in the Discord chat specifically, I was giving some not financial advice to some folks. And one of them at least was not over 18. So I will specify this. If you are going to try to invest at a young age, fantastic, good on you, but also involve your parents in that conversation.
Yes, very much so.
Definitely don't steal money from your parents and start throwing it into an investment. And if you have a little savings account or whatever, don't go doing that without the advice of your own parents. So don't listen to me. I am not a financial advisor, but I have seen some things work for myself, which is why we talk about it on this podcast sometimes. Okay, sweet. Addressed.
Hey,
Jake, you're up. What's your first topic?
I am up. So I was doing the math on this, and we're not going to be able to do a podcast more than likely the week before I am out there for Aftershock.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I want to talk about Aftershock. Aftershock, for anybody who's listening who doesn't know, it is a rock music festival going on in Sacramento, California. I'm going out there to visit Kyle for it. It's a 4-day festival, all rock bands for the most part. There may be a couple that aren't, but I want to go through the lineup with Kyle, talk about who we're excited about, who we're not excited about, just because I have not been this excited for a music festival in a very long time, because Jess, as much as I love her, does not listen to the same music that I do, in the sense that I listen to this and she really doesn't. She might listen to some of these bands. I'm going to share my screen to make it easier for you, Kyle.
Yeah, that works. I was pulling it up over here, but I hate when you go to their homepage and it gives you this. I hate this.
Yeah.
I wish they would just give you the main poster version, because I think
you have to go to schedules and everything. So here is the actually I'm going to hold on, I'm going to switch screens here so it's easier to see. All right, so through the schedules. So we're starting on Thursday. So the openers of the entire festival are See You Space Cowboy and Holding Absence. Are you familiar with either band?
So I will tell you this: my familiarity with like this genre of music as a whole has like dove off a massive cliff in the last 5-ish years when I converted to basically all country music. So if you look back on anything more recent, and even if it was a little bit older but unknown at the time, like when I was more listening to this type of music, then I probably don't know who they are. So like big names from back in the day are the things that I'm really looking forward to for this. So no, I do not know who those people are.
Gotcha. I don't know CU Space Cowboy. I've never heard of their music, but I really like Holding Absence. They have a few songs that I really like. Some of their older stuff. Not really older. It was like 2020 stuff for them. So they're definitely who we're going to see on the first slot, just so you're aware.
That's fine.
Because I'm making the decisions here.
No, that makes sense. I will tell you the one thing, and I forgot to message you about this like privately, but I got an email from this festival and the other one that we're going to, and they're like, "Hey, don't forget to get your shuttle passes." And I was like, "Ooh, good idea. I should get some shuttle passes," because I've done that like with Stagecoach and things like that in the past. Stagecoach was like I think $25 a person for the whole weekend to have a pass, and I was like, it's probably gonna be right about there, and that's worth it to me. Even though you have to drive to a like parking lot to then get on a shuttle and ride. There's like nobody that would pick us up by the house, but
Right.
anyway, I pull up the tickets. Guess how much it was per person for a shuttle pass for the weekend?
$100.
$100 fucking dollars.
Yeah,
I was
it
like, absolutely not.
doesn't really surprise me. I'll walk. I'll be
If Carly
fine.
can't give us a ride, we can Uber for probably 10% of that.
Yep, we are doing that. We are Ubering all weekend or getting a ride from Carly.
Yeah.
Next kind of time slot. So the next few bands, Let Down, Pink Shift, Static Dress, and Nothing Nowhere. The only Nothing Nowhere is like one of the few like I have to see them of this festival. Like there is no question. I love all of their music, especially their more recent stuff, which is way more rock. It's I shouldn't even say more rock influence. Is all of his music is kind of rock influence, but his newest stuff is very rock with like a little bit of the rap stuff that he does in there as well. So I'm super excited for them, and I haven't really heard of the other three.
Okay. I just am looking at the full day thing here, so I don't know what their time frames are. But looking at the full day of Thursday, there's like the whole bottom half of the like square picture version of the schedule is people I don't know. So
which is probably the inverse. It's probably like the people I'm looking at now on my screen.
Yeah, it probably is. Yep.
So then after them, Starbenders, Don Bracco, White Reaper, Kid Capici. Really, I've heard of Don Bracco. I've never listened to them, but they're the only one in that bunch there that I really know at all. So maybe that's when we're getting lunch.
I'm doing body blocking right now, so Lewis doesn't body slam the keyboard.
Respect.
Really trying. Yeah, you could keep scrolling, talk through whatever you want here, because we still haven't hit a band yet. Wait, there we go. Got one. I want to see Pennywise.
Okay, I want to see that.
Awesome.
I want to see 1,000 Below, but my guess is they're gonna play them and Nothing But Thieves are both. I really like both of these bands. I do want to see Pennywise too, though, so that's definitely going to be kind of a tight window. We'll have to see how those stages line up and what the travel time looks like. Kim Dracula, I love their music. I have no desire to see them live. I feel like it's going to ruin the appreciation that I have for them because their music is so like it's very niche, it's very eclectic, and their music videos are super awesome. So when I watch those, like that's how I picture their music being, and if it isn't like that live, I feel like I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah, and like I said, we've talked about this topic in the past on this podcast. There we go. Words were going to come out eventually. The festival time is like the best time, like where if you don't really want to see anybody, you go and just find like a no-name stage and just go check people out, because then that's how you discover like really cool music and up and comers in that genre and everything. So if there's ever like a break like that where we're like, man, we could see these people but probably don't care to, then we're gonna go and just find some random folks to do it. Check out Stone Temple Pilots would be maybe good live.
I feel like they'd be good. We have time to kill anyway. It's basically like Pennywise and Kim Dracula go on, and then it hops to Stone Temple Pilots and Beauty School Dropout.
And then let me tell you, if I have one that you're going to have to go to with me, sorry about it, but not sorry. I wouldn't call them like, I don't think I would ever refer to a band as being like influential in my life, but somebody that I listened to like on repeat when I was younger was AFI.
Yeah.
And so we will see AFI live. I've seen
Oh,
them live once
100%.
and they put on an amazing show. So I'll definitely see them again.
No, I love AFI. We're definitely seeing them.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we're on the same page there. Death by Rami, no idea. Couldn't tell you who she
Never heard
is.
of them.
The Cult, maybe
Is
fun.
that like the old school, the Cult, like really old?
Yeah,
Am I thinking of the right? Yeah, those guys are fucking old. Okay.
yeah. So yeah, down to see them too. Which then followed by the Bronx, who I don't know, Senses Fail, who I really want to see.
Yeah, Census Fail would be great.
Incubus is on at basically the same time. I know Incubus is like a good band and like people have good things to say about them. I don't love their music personally.
You wouldn't have to convince me to stay at Census Fail and not go to see Incubus.
Perfect.
I can promise you that much.
Awesome. And then L7 and Avenged Sevenfold are the headliners for the day. And I'm going to assume we're on the same page about who we're seeing here.
I don't know who L7 is, so yeah, I would hope so.
Perfect. So we're going to see Avenged Sevenfold that day.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
That'd
That's
be a good Thursday.
Thursday.
That Thursday, like if you just look at the Thursday lineup, it just sets the stage for how awesome this festival is actually going to be, though. It's like your punk rock, alternative rock, fucking, hardcore, a little bit in some of these places type rock. Like, mega concert. Like anything you'd ever probably want to see is going to be there. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty sick. Moving on to Friday, Flat Black, Widow 7, Death Valley Dreams. Haven't heard of any of them. Know of Strange Kids. Know of Tala.
Strange Kids I've heard of.
Fire from the Gods. No idea. Hannibal. Memphis Mayfire is really the first band on this day that I want to see.
You still haven't really seen one, like gotten to one that I want to see.
Varials is awesome. And the time slot's probably going to work out to be able to see them too. The Who, HU, not WHO for our verbal listeners. Skillet, they're pretty good.
Yeah, I'll probably just go for the memes to see Skillet.
The problem is though, I love Dragged Under, and they're at the exact same time.
Yeah, you probably won't have to convince me too hard. I think it would just be for the memes for me.
Nice. Following them is Bad Omens and Currents. 100% seeing Bad Omens.
Okay, no problem with that.
Coheed and Cambria and Gideon, 100% Coheed and Cambria.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. Coheed and Cambria is another one that was a huge popular thing for me back in high school time frame, middle school.
Next up, Megadeth and Polaris.
Don't care.
Perfect.
I go to either.
I've seen Polaris live. I have not seen Megadeth live, so I'm tempted to lean that way. But I also love Polaris's music way more than I like Megadeth. Maybe that's blasphemy. They're one of the few like thrash metal bands that I just like really don't. I don't dislike them, but I like a lot of their music isn't like a memory hole for me. Like I can't name a single Megadeth song right now.
Yeah.
Next up, Limp Bizkit.
I think Limp Bizkit is another one like that we have to see, right? Like I mean, Limp Bizkit was the shit when I was a kid.
Yeah, I want to see Attila, but also like the meme of seeing Fred Durst live.
Yeah,
it just feels so almost superior.
Maybe you go like listen to one or two songs and then dip out, but you got to see at least something of Limp Bizkit live.
I just hope they open with Break Stuff.
Yeah.
If they do that, I've gotten everything I need out of.
They'll save it for probably the end, though.
I know that's the fucking worst part.
It's always the worst because you're like, oh, I really want to hear this song by this artist, but I don't want to stay for the whole set. Which means
it's gonna, it's gonna be their closer.
Their final.
Yep. The worst. Next up, Godsmack and Deaf Heaven. I know Godsmack. I don't know Deaf Heaven, so I think my decision is made there.
Yeah, Godsmack's fine. And then I can't believe Tool is actually touring. I didn't know that they were.
Yeah, I didn't either. I had no idea. But we'll definitely go there. I do like Converge though, but at the same time, like I've seen them before. I haven't seen Tool, so. And then it's new metal night if we stay that late. So we can listen to probably just a bunch of random new metal.
New metal night. Okay. All right.
That's all we got. On to Saturday. This is where shit starts to get really fun. So the first three this day, haven't heard of any of them. Amber Wild, Red Star, and Luna Aura. Fame on Fire. I know them from doing like some cover songs on TikTok and like singing some of their songs on TikTok. They're pretty decent. Traders is pretty good at the same time too. So really, it's gonna just kind of depend on what genre we want to listen to at that point on a Saturday afternoon. Traders is a little heavier. Fame on Fire is still like heavy, but they're a little more like poppy. Fox Lake and Boston Manor are at 205. I like Fox Lake. I like Boston Manor. Again, I'll probably let you pick this one on that day.
Do not
If
care.
you perfect. 240 is Escape the Fate in Ithaca. I have to see Escape the Fate.
Yep, same. That would be
They're
my
like
preference.
they were like the band that got me into like I don't want to say heavy music, but like kind of more of like the emo heavy music.
Sure.
And I've never seen them live somehow. I've been listening to them for like 15 years and never seen them live. So
I won't lie to you. I think Saturday might be the least exciting day to me. Actually, the only thing
But
that I really would care to see is Escape the Fate. Everything else is like I don't whatever you want to see. I don't
it
have
it
any
gets better throughout the day though.
preference on this day. I'm looking through the entire list and I'm like, meh.
Ithaca, Holy Wars, Avatar, Fever 333, 1056, period. Don't really know any of them. Baby Metal and Catch Your Breath are both fun. Baby Metal, maybe just for the memes of it being Baby Metal. Feels
Okay.
fun.
Huh.
Corey Taylor doing a solo set. That might be pretty sick.
Sure.
You know who Corey Taylor is?
Yeah, and I'm down, but I also am just like, meh.
It's them or Swayco, who I don't love their music. It's kind of cringy to me. But following them is Parkway Drive, who absolutely fucking slap. Love them. Sleep Token. We can see the band. I don't know if you know anything about Sleep Token.
Nah.
They're kind of like R&B meets heavy music is kind of
That's
the best
weird.
way I can describe it. But the band is entirely anonymous. So like the drummer's name is 2. Just the number 2. So that's interesting. 311 is on at 725. The Amity Affliction is a must see for me.
Okay. We'll go with that.
Turnstile and Polyphia. I don't know if you know anything about Polyphia.
Nope.
Tim Henson right there. Maybe the single greatest guitarist on earth right now. But this band is almost entirely just instrumental, but some of their music is just absolutely insane. The things that man can do on a nylon string guitar do things to my insides. And then 920 and 925 is Death Clock and Korn.
I didn't see Korn listed for whatever reason on mine, but I would like to see Korn just for the nostalgia of it.
Yeah, just for the memes. Death Clock would be also for the memes, but not as for the memes as Korn would be. Especially us being some Midwest boys.
Yeah, contrary to like every other festival that I've ever been to, Sunday is perhaps the best day of the entire festival. Sunday's fucking wild.
Yeah, so it starts off As You Were, Austin Mead, Wargasm, Asava. Really don't know any of them.
Sleeping in that day, yep.
Well, Rain City Drive at 105, I really want to see. Some of you may know their old band name, which was Slaves. They changed that name to be more PC.
That makes sense.
So they're really good. I really want to see them live. Gnome, Aaron Jones, Red Light King, Devil's Cut. Don't know anybody there, but then we get to Mayday.
Yep.
We get to Mayday Parade.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be fun.
Must see. Tiger Cub, Bad Flower. I've heard good things about Bad Flower. I can't say I've really ever listened to their music though.
I haven't. Either.
Followed by Chris Daughtry.
That's such a weird addition to this festival.
I know, but I'm
since
down
there's nothing
for
really
it.
else going on, you might as well go see him.
Yeah. This section right here hurts me. Ryan Oakes and I Prevail. I absolutely
Prevail.
Okay. I really love both of them, but Ryan Oakes has like a few songs that I enjoy. I Prevail, I absolutely love. So that one's relatively an easy choice for me. Call Me Charisma and Dance Gavin Dance.
I'd rather see Dance Gavin Dance.
100%. Movements and Rancid.
Rancid's the one.
Yeah,
I would much rather see Rancid.
I would be more tempted to try and sway you out of Movements, but I've seen Movements live, so it's less of a choice for me.
That could be a split set too. I don't need to see a whole set from Rancid, I don't think.
Yeah, we'll play it by ear.
This one is actually tough for me.
Billy Talent and Queens of the Stone Age.
Because I have there's a handful of Billy Talent songs that came out back in the day that I had on repeat, and I'm like, it'd be fun to go see that, but it'd be so unpredictable of if that's going to actually get played and when. So Queens of the Stone Age might be the play there, but
yeah, it might be. We'll see. And then 725. This one's going to hurt me to my core. But Suicide Silence and Guns N' Roses going on at the same time.
If we have to do a split set on this, we will. But I will promise you that I'm going to see Guns N' Roses live.
I'm fully with. I've seen Guns N' Roses live, and it's fucking awesome. Even though Axl was like 45 minutes late. So not much has changed from the 80s, people. But yeah, it's an awesome festival all the way around. Really great bands kind of all the way through. So I'm super excited for it. I'm going to spend way too much money on t-shirts. I can see it now. I'm going to
Speaking of, I can send you the QR code if you want to start looking at merch already, but obviously it's on the website too. But
yeah,
I
send
don't
it
know if
over.
there's a different link that they have that they sent me with our passes, so I'll send you that.
Sounds good. But yeah, that's the festival. I'm super excited for it. That is why you guys will not get an episode on October 4th because we'll be there. Or 5th.
True.
October 5th. We'll be busy that day, so there's not going to be an episode that week. And there's not going to be one the week prior because Jess and I are going to a concert. So
there you have it. And probably will be one the next week, but we'll see.
yeah, there'll be.
How wild it should be.
So that's when Jess is back. That's when Jess will actually be in town too for the music festival. We're saying that next weekend. So maybe we try and do a husbands and wives episode again.
I'm not gonna lie, it's crazy how fast this is creeping up on us. It's 2 weeks to the day.
Yeah.
Like it is so nearly here. It's wild.
Yeah. I will be flying into California on the 4th. So that reminds me, I should probably send you guys my flight info so I can make sure you guys can pick me up.
That.
I'll do that right
I
after the
figure out how
pod.
to pick you up, yeah.
I'm flying in later in the day,
That's
so it'll be hopefully easier. So,
Yeah.
But that's our first topic. I'm just excited about the festival, so I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just realized I didn't actually have the game on in the background, so I'm just like trying to put the game on in the background. But then we can start talking. So, take on to my first topic. My first topic is this. Jake, what are some things that you were like intimidated by or that you were like nervous about getting into, but then you did it and you're like, holy crap, why would I ever pay someone to come do this for me? So specifically, so I'm thinking of like if you want to like use the term DIY, right? Like, hey, this thing just happened. I need to call a repairman. And then instead you like looked it up on YouTube, you figured it out, and it was way easier in person than you thought.
There's so many things. Even just things that are as simple as like mounting a TV. Like my dad always paid people to do that when we were younger. Yeah. Like he would because he would just buy the TV from Best Buy and they're like, "We'll come to your house and install it for you." And he was like, "Yeah, do it." So that was super intimidating to me. And then like when we lived at Lewis, we had metal studs and I wasn't positive that I had something that could like pierce metal studs. Mm-hmm. And then I found out about, I forget what they're called now, but basically like just so you can just hang on drywall. You put them through, you put the screw through it and it expands and like dissipate. Yeah, the anchors. It dissipates the pressure through the drywall so you can just hang it on drywall. Yeah. And that's just all I do now. Yeah, they're awesome.
That's one of those things, like just in general, like I think people have a hard time like dealing with drilling, right? Like they're afraid to drill and not be confident in what they're drilling into. And so things like finding studs, that kind of stuff is like, it's way easier than you think it is.
Yeah.
And I would say that the one cautionary tale I have for anybody that's going to try to do DIY stuff that involves drilling is that you should be aware if the wall that you're going to drill into has plumbing in it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of new houses, electrical too, but you can kind of prepare yourself for that if you're like staying away from outlets and things like that. But if plumbing's a little bit more misleading. So like my bedroom, for example, the back wall that sits on the, like at the foot of my bed where I would probably want to mount a TV is on the same wall as all the plumbing for my shower, which is why I have never tried to mount a TV there. We just don't have a TV in the bedroom now. We actually got rid of it. But it was one of those things where it's like, I'm a little bit fucking nervous to pop a hole in this wall when I don't know exactly how they ran the plumbing, and it is no shit my shower right there. So like, I don't want to stick a bit all the way through either.
Yeah.
So those are things to be cautious of if you're going to like start tapping into DIY and do drilling. Just be aware of where your plumbing is. And like, you can always do, this is what I did. Like I was doing the same concept, just in our laundry room is on the other side of our other bathroom. Yeah. I just drilled like the tiniest drill bit that I had on I found a stud with a stud finder and put a tiny drill bit through, made sure I was actually getting wood on that drill bit, you know, and not water. And then I actually made the real full size hole. So there are ways to kind of like do that. I'm sure there's even like smarter ways. You could probably YouTube, like, how do I drill on the opposite wall of fucking plumbing? And there's, I'm sure some there's out there that'll help you do that. But yeah, that's definitely one thing, like just drilling and hanging things for sure.
Yeah. Another huge one for me was painting.
Yeah.
Like the act of painting a room was so intimidating to me because I'm like, I notice the little shit that's wrong. And so
Sure.
like I'm convinced like and you've talked about this before, like when you did the tiles in the sunroom there, that
Anytime you do your own work.
you're like, I notice every imperfection. And I
Yep.
feel like I'm the same way to an extent. Like when we painted our room, of course the one wall we fucked up a little bit on is the one that our bed faces.
Yeah.
So we literally lay in bed and look
Yeah.
up at it
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
night, and we still haven't fixed it. Mostly because I'm lazy. But yeah, I was like, let's just pay somebody to do it. It's only going to be like $400 to have them paint this room.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
gonna, if we try and do it, it's gonna take so long. And then it's like, oh no, with like good paint and everything, paint a room in 6 hours.
Painting can be frustrating, but it's the prep work for painting, not the painting itself.
Yes.
Like when you're doing all the taping and prepping of surfaces and everything, that can be frustrating just because you have to be very meticulous about that. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I think painting is another thing that's just like, it's so simple when you know what you're doing, but it can be like, why am I getting all these freaking streak marks, and why
Right.
isn't this working, or why am I not getting my trim? You know, like there's
I
different
can
things
see
that.
the old color. It's right there.
But yeah, 100% to your point, dude. Like if you do your own work, it's the reason usually people will dive in. Some people are like just organically handy, and they're
Yeah.
like, I'm just going to tear this apart and I'm going to figure out how to fix it and put it back together. Right? I'm not
Not there.
not that person, but I'm
Yeah.
certainly not that person. You know what I mean? Like I might try that every once in a while with something that's not critical and just see if I can figure it out. But generally speaking, I'm going to do research, right? And so if you research something enough, like the tile Jake brought up for me, and you know what it should look like, and you've seen the steps, you understand what you do to make it good, and then it doesn't turn out right, you're
Yeah.
going to notice every little thing because you're like, oh yeah, like with tile, like lippage on a tile where like it doesn't sit perfectly level and you can feel the transition between two pieces of tile. Like I watched 8 million videos talking about how to not make that happen, and I have it all over the freaking room. So it's like,
But
yeah, it's
so
tough.
to give you like some flowers on that, like I have seen the work done by multi-million-dollar companies that repeatedly fuck that shit up too.
Oh, I call it out all the time now too, which is actually another problem for me. Is like I'll go to a place and be like, "This tile looks like shit," and Carly's like, "Why are you looking at these fucking people's tile?"
Because I did
Like,
tile. I do tile now.
I did it one time. I'm now an expert. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay, so I'll do a couple of mine since Jake's gotten a couple out there, and I will say this, and I will recommend this to other people. If you have a thing go wrong with an appliance, I don't care what it is, try to look up specifically if it gives you an error code, right? Like say you have a digital screen on something like a refrigerator, which is the story that I'm going to tell in a second, and it has a readout if something goes wrong. Look up the code and just see if somebody put a YouTube video out there on how to fix it, and maybe it's way more simple than you think. So for me the other day, we had a code pop up on our refrigerator, and we'd never seen anything pop up other than like the status of what buttons have been pressed. So we're like, what is this? And it just said ERRFF. And so I looked it up, and it stood for air freezer fan. And I was like, I wonder if I can deal with this myself because I don't want my
Right.
food to fucking thaw and get ruined. So I want to take care of this quickly. And I looked it up on YouTube, and it was literally maybe the easiest thing I've ever done to take the back panel out of a freezer. All you literally do is, at least with my model, is you take all the food out of it in drawers and then take out, I think it was 3 screws. And then it's just a panel that pops out. And the fans are both right there. And so it was just so freaking simple, but it was something that I was intimidated about. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to work in my fridge. What if I fucking ruin the fridge, And then like all of my food spoils or whatever, it's like important because you have money invested in the food and you don't want it to go bad,
Right.
which is part of the reason why I wanted to DIY it. But also I would have probably thought about calling a appliance person, like a refrigerator repair person, to come out and fix that. And then what I did, and you can maybe do this for every model, I don't know, but I looked up Sears has, I don't think, does Sears even still exist?
Yeah. I
Like
think
as
so.
a box, like as a store you can walk into with a storefront. I haven't seen a Sears in forever, but either way, Sears does still have their appliance company.
Yep.
And they do a lot of online part sales. Well, I found out that Sears offers schematics for refrigerators. So I tried to Google the part and I couldn't really find it. So I literally just pulled up the schematic, the blueprint for my refrigerator,
Yeah.
and found the part. And I was able to go on Amazon then with a part number and find the stuff. So I've got all the parts to fix my refrigerator for less than $100. And it probably would have cost me $400, $500, $600 to bring a technician out to repair my refrigerator. So I ended up actually getting super lucky because there was 2 things. Either with the freezer, you had to like completely thaw out the back of it because it accumulated too much ice and it shouldn't have. and that caused the fan to seize, or you needed to replace the fan. Well, I wanted to kind of get ahead of it, ordered the parts to replace the fan, and then it turns out that it ended up, I think, because I thought everything out too, I think that fixed it, because now I'm about to return those parts, because after I did that, the code has been gone for a few days now. So I think we're good. But either way, the process itself was super easy, and now I know how to do it going forward. And then the other one, I was actually gone for a work trip, and my dishwasher stopped working. And this is when I lived in Arizona, and Carly's like, crap, this happened, of course, when Kyle's gone for a while.
Right.
Got to get the dishwasher fixed. And she called a guy, which obviously, like, I don't like expect her to do a bunch of research and try to figure it out herself. Like, I'm not there. Freaking call somebody and get this thing fixed so you can, right? So she calls a guy. I think he's just like a handyman, so it wasn't like as expensive as hiring like a professional technician or anything like that, but it was a little bit pricey, and she watched him because she's smart, and she watches him do the work. Turns out, dude pulls the fucking refrigerator or the dishwasher out, which, by the way, was the most expensive part of the repair. I think he charged $75
Jesus,
because he had to physically pull the dishwasher out, which, if you don't know, is very easy. And there's a lot of videos about how to pull your fucking dishwasher out. So anyway, he charged the most for that. But really, he sets the thing on his side, and the motor on your dishwasher is probably the primary part that goes out, because shit gets in there and breaks fans or stops working or whatever. And literally, it's like a clamp and a screw and a clip-on connection. You pull it out, and you can order the part on Amazon and replace it. Very fucking easy. So this is all to say that appliances are actually way easier for minor repairs than you might think. Same thing goes for Carly. Found a refrigerator on Amazon, or not on Amazon. Sorry. She found a refrigerator on the marketplace that was free, because some guy was like, shit, I punctured a hole in my Freon tube. So it leaked all the Freon out. It doesn't cool, but if anybody knows how to fix this, come get it. It's free. It was like a $500 mini fridge. Carly went and picked it up, and I repaired it.
And now you have a mini fridge.
I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing. Looked it up on YouTube, found the solution. Very simple. Filled it with Freon. It's in my backyard right now, and it holds my beer. Like, it was nice. Free. So it's awesome.
Love that.
So yeah, there's a wealth of information, but it's something that I would have been intimidated by, especially if it had happened to me.
Right.
Like if I had a fridge that I was relying upon, and it went out, and I noticed that like it was because of a hole or whatever that caused, I would have freaked out a little bit. But this was like a low threat way for me to deal with this. Yeah. It's like, oh sure, the shit's free. If it doesn't work, throw it away. Carly found actually like one of those 6-can refrigerators on Marketplace like a while back.
Yeah.
And brought it home, and the guy was like, oh, the fan's not blowing, so it doesn't stay cool. And so I tried my ass off. I didn't watch videos on that one. I was just like, I can do this. I tore the back off of it, and I was like, this should be easy to fix. And I looked into it and everything like that. And it ended up that there was actually a short in the wiring, like down to the board level. And I wasn't going to try to solder or anything like that. But I actually tried at one point in time I stripped the wiring off of an old PC fan that I had and tried to use a PC fan to make the refrigerator work.
I think I remember you telling me about that.
It almost worked. It's just, that's when I discovered that there was definitely a short, and because it would start to spin the fan and then shut off, shut off. So, but yeah, it was awesome. And it was no threat with something free off the marketplace.
Yeah. A couple little other minor things for me, like drywall patching. Had no idea how to do it. Yeah. Extremely easy to do.
I will say patching drywall is very easy. Making it look pretty is not.
Yeah.
But I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on that recently. So for future repairs, I'm going to try to do a better job.
I've done where I had to patch it. I did a decent job until the same thing that fucked it up the first time happened again, which just kind of blew the patch out. And then this is not something that I have done yet, but I will be doing in the future before I sell this house, is countertop work, specifically with just butcher's block. I don't know if you've looked into it. Arguably the easiest thing to install in the world.
Yeah, it's just screws.
Yeah. It's so easy to do. And that's what we're eventually going to do. I want to do it before we sell the house so I can enjoy it too. Yeah. But our countertops, they're laminate countertops that never got laminated.
That's weird.
Yeah. So can't quite tell you how that happened. But yeah, so like it stains super easily. Like if I get turmeric on the counter, there's just an orange spot there now.
Can you say that word again?
Turmeric.
Turmeric?
Turmeric.
Turmeric?
Turmeric.
Okay, cool. Just on the same page that we're talking about the same spice here that you're pronouncing very strangely.
Funny enough, Jess and one of our friends are in the living room right now watching the podcast live, and as we were arguing about the words there, I heard them laughing. So I'm probably gonna hear them laughing again about this.
Well, you're wrong, so.
It's fine. Turmeric. It's like Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah,
Worcestershire.
that one I can understand more. I think turmeric is like very specifically spelled, but
It has an R. It's Turmeric. Turmeric. You're an idiot. Anyways, so yeah, I'll do the countertops, and then one thing that I have to do that I may be too intimidated to do, we don't have Ethernet ports in the bedrooms, and I kind of want to run an Ethernet port from so the modem and everything is in our bedroom, and I want to run it to my office. Because literally right now, I have a 50-foot Ethernet cable that just goes out our bedroom door, through our hallway, into this room, behind the shit that's behind this computer here, or this desk here, and into the back of my computer. So I want to run that wire. It may be as simple as I just drill holes in the corner of my drywall and run a cord through it. Instead of actually doing it properly, just so that the cord is less messy. But
so that's
I want to figure out how to do
definitely
it.
I would say, quote unquote, lazy way, because a lot of cable technicians do that too, where instead of properly putting like a hole in your wall and putting it in a proper cable plate, they'll just drill one hole and shove the cord through there and then connect it to a back plate, right? So you can definitely do things like that. But if you have an attic,
we do,
that is accessible to all the way to the sidewall, which some
is.
people do and some people don't, it's actually pretty easy to run cable.
Yeah. So maybe I'll end up doing that, but we'll see. We'll see how committed. My problem with a lot of like bigger projects like that is my ADHD kicks in, and as soon as I start it, I'm mad that it's not done, and I just get frustrated in like 20 minutes. I'm like, fuck it, I'm paying somebody.
Uncle Kyle threw a good one on here. Door handle. That is a good one. I think replacing door handles is very easy. If you have to do the drilling and then the chiseling into the actual door frame to do it, it is way more intimidating.
Yeah, I had to do that.
That being said, though, you can do it on your own.
Yeah, I replaced when we bought the house, I replaced the front door with an electronic lock, just like one of the ones with a passcode. And it didn't fit properly, so I did have to do some chiseling, and by chiseling, I didn't have a chisel, so I just put a drill bit on the drill and just kind of wung it.
Nice.
I just like chiseled some extra space there for me. So just did that, but a lot of projects seem a lot more intimidating than they are. There's definitely some things I know that I like. If something came up that I couldn't physically do, like when our AC went out, I'm never going to be able to figure out how to fix an AC unit. It's just not in my skill set there. And everything was fucked, and it was old and everything. But yeah, never going to do that.
Ceiling fans, Carly just threw in the chat. I would say ceiling fan replacement is easy. If you have to try to wire a new one, I would not do it myself, which is why I ended up paying a handyman to come and run wire for me, because I am so uncomfortable with electrical. Like putting in full-blown electrical makes me very uncomfortable. But
watching him do the one in I think it was the living room, where it was literally just like as simple as unclamping the wires and then reclamping them. Like that seemed,
that's it.
I could do that.
Dude, let me tell you a story really quick. And I don't know if he still listens to this podcast. I know he does every once in a while, so I mean no offense when I say this, but one time my buddy called me and he's like, hey, I'm having trouble putting a ceiling fan up. Can you just help me? Like, I just need someone like a second set of hands to hold this. And I was like, yeah, sure. And we went over there, and it turned out he bought the wrong type of fan. So he bought a flush mount fan, but he had an actual external conduit box.
Yeah.
So you couldn't have a flush mount fan. And we were like, fuck it, we're figuring this out. And it took us hours. And we got that motherfucking fan hung. But really, the process isn't hard. It's just a matter of that was just dumb to put that particular fan up. But it was a cool fan, so good on him.
There you go.
The last one I will say that was new to me and it was awesome and I was really happy I figured it out was PVC work.
Yep.
Specifically, I figured it out for irrigation, but I did not realize just how freaking easy it is to put out your own PVC. So I was able to replace all of I didn't know how to do it, so I didn't want to look it up. So I hired a guy initially because we had one break when we got here. And he came out and replaced it. And I don't think it was overly expensive repair, but I was like, hey, do you mind if I just sit here and watch you as you repair this? And he's like, no, dude, go ahead. And he actually talked me through it.
Right.
And then next year, one of them started to go out again. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to replace them all. And so easy. I did it all no time at all. So
nice.
I say all this to say, and I bring this topic to the attention of our audience to go, if you're intimidated by something, that's totally fine if you want to pay somebody to come do it. What I would encourage you to do if you're going to do that is watch them do it or try to. And don't be like fucking annoying about it. Like that person's doing their job. Don't like be the over the shoulder critic, but if they're willing like to talk you through it, then sit there and watch them do it. And then on top of that, watch some YouTube videos and just see what your level of comfort is. Like you might
Yeah.
watch a YouTube video about a repair and go, oh crap, I can do that.
Yeah.
And do it.
Yeah.
It'll save you a lot of money.
Yeah. Cause I've done like, just from watching YouTube videos, like I installed a leveling kit on my old pickup truck. I replaced a headlight in a car. Like a lot of this stuff is
the internet has a wealth of it now.
There's a YouTube video for everything. Yeah. So there's an app for that.
There is an app.
There was an app called There's an App for That, by the way, where you could look up a topic and it would give you the app that would help you with that topic. That was pretty sick. But yeah, a lot of shit is really easy. And worst case scenario, you fuck it up so bad you have to pay somebody to fix it anyway, which is what you were planning on doing in the first place.
Yeah, 100%. Jake, rate your beer.
It stays what it's always been. I think on the previous scale it was like an 8-9. So for me, I'm going to round up a little bit, give it a nice solid 4.5. Right
on. The blueberry watermelon Michelob Ultra Seltzer is a 3.0 to me. It is good. I'm not a big lover of blueberry, but I don't want to dock them for that. I think the flavor profile is good. So yeah, not bad. I'm excited to try that. Hibiscus next.
I'm excited to try that because I love blueberry. I'm like I said, sticking with pumpkin. So this is just Wild Onion Brewery's pumpkin ale. I want to say this one's from Uncle Kyle, but I could be wrong. No, it's from Illinois.
If you haven't done that before, or if you're worried about it at all, maybe you're not concerned at all. But dishwashers are so much easier than I ever thought they would be to work on. Like there are not that many freaking parts on a dishwasher.
Yeah.
It's literally like you look inside and all of the moving parts are right there. And the only other moving part that's external is your freaking motor. And it's very easy to work with.
Yep.
I actually, when we moved to this house, we turned on the dishwasher for the first time and it literally went, it was fucking screaming. And we were like, what the fuck? Just because it wasn't draining great. So I wasn't sure if it was the motor or not, but I replaced the motor. Silent, amazing dishwasher, and it drained perfectly. So
there you go.
And I learned all that because Carly watched that guy in Tucson.
Look at that. It all comes down to just watching people. Joe from You had a point. You ever watch the show You?
Yes. I saw the first season and I never went back.
Yeah, Joe had a point. You just watch people. You figure stuff out. Maybe it's not good stuff.
Very fucking creepy.
Yeah, well, it's a TV show. It's fictionalized.
Yeah. All right. Jake, what's your next topic?
All right.
We're on both of ours, so.
Fuck it. This one will probably be pretty quick. What are some things that you have nostalgia of, but the nostalgia, like, you remember it being so much longer ago than it actually was? Like, what's something that brings you back to... So, like, the example that I'm going to give is literally the movie I just watched before this. We were watching... I don't know if you've seen the show Ballers or heard about it at all.
I've heard about it. I've never watched it.
It's basically Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, is in the show a former professional football player who's now like a financial manager for football players. And in the show is the co-star, I'm blanking on his name, but our friend pointed out that he was in Hot Tub Time Machine. And Jess was like, oh, I've never seen it. So we watched Hot Tub Time Machine. And for me, I feel like I remember watching that movie when I was like 10.
Yeah.
But it came out when I was 15. Yeah, so like for me, it brought me back to a different place than I actually was at when I watched it. So is there anything like that for you? Like, are there any movies, music, TV shows, anything like that that brings you back to a place that physically was impossible?
Yeah, I guess so, a little bit. I'm sure I can think of more, but I would say the one, and I think this is just a product of like things advancing with time, right? And I think one of them that makes me feel nostalgia is the people talking about the 2000s Star Wars movies as being old. And like I watch those and I look back and I'm like, oh, I love this movie, and I have a little bit of like, you know, nostalgia about it. But when people talk about it like that, I'm like, holy crap, that makes me feel old and gives me this sense of nostalgia of like that, because now people are starting to connect with the new movies and new TV shows and everything like that. Right. So I get this weird sense of nostalgia now over like the Jar Jar Binks era, because it's like,
oh God,
it was like crazy hated at the time, and now it's made like this massive comeback of reputation ever since the new ones came out, because people don't really love those as much. And so it's been, I would say those are one of them. And it's funny that you'd say this, because I just saw the interview with Lamar. Did you see that? So I guess Richardson was comparing himself, or somebody was comparing Richardson to Lamar and to Cam Newton, and Lamar was like, dude, I am 26 years old and you're comparing this guy to me as if I'm like 10, 20 years into my career.
Yeah, like
And
35,
it
like
makes me
Cam
feel
is.
so old.
Yeah.
And he's like, but I'm 26, man. It was pretty funny.
That is one thing in general that kind of like brings me back to a place weirdly, is like hearing Jess's siblings talk about like middle school and high school.
Oh yeah.
Like it feels so far away from me, but like it feels like 20 years ago that I was in high school, and I'm not that old, but it's just like my life, so much has happened in my life since then. And it's like they're talking about like the little drama, you know, that goes on when you're that age, and like all the bullshit. And it's just like, God, that feels like it was so long ago. And realistically, like I was in high school 10 years ago. That's not that long in the grand scheme of things.
Well, I was just going to say, I've been alive for 30 years, and I feel like me talking about nostalgia is weird sometimes, right? Like,
Right.
30 years is nothing, you know? And so it's weird to think about, like, oh, yeah, the back in my day kind of conversation when I'm fucking 30, dude. Like, this was all in a spectrum very recent.
Uncle Kyle says this podcast for him.
Yeah. You're welcome, Uncle Kyle. We'll keep you young as we can anyway. Jake's younger than me, so he'll keep you young.
Barely.
You know what's another weird one for me? And I feel like a lot of the nostalgia that I usually feel for anything is food based.
Yeah.
And so, and I could name a few now that I'm thinking about this, but Big Boppers for me.
Oh yeah.
So I hadn't had one I couldn't even describe how long. I have no fucking clue. But when Carly and I were dating, one time we went to a gas station right by my apartment and I got one. And I was like, oh my God, it takes me back to the greatest of times. And then for like maybe 3 months straight, I think I ate a Big Bopper like maybe once a week or twice a week. I ate so fucking many.
I love them.
They're so goddamn good, but they're the absolute worst for you. And then the other one that I would say, because when I was a kid, I would save my allowance to buy trolley gummy worms. And so now those like sour gummy worms to me are a bit of nostalgia. And I don't even love them as much now as I used to. Have my taste buds have gone away from sour stuff quite as much, but I like feel some great sense of nostalgia now when I eat those specific brand, not any, but those for sure.
Another one for me is like TV dinners.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I was eating those 6 months ago, but like the last like TV dinner, like I don't remember the brand, but like the Salisbury steaks.
Oh, dude, I cannot tell you how much Salisbury steak I had growing up.
Same. But like, I feel like that was, again, like 5-10 years ago, maybe even sooner.
What is a Salisbury steak?
I think it's just meat thrown
like
into a pile.
Blended meat.
Let's Google it real quick. Seasoned beef patties using minced ground beef, then making a mushroom gravy.
So it's just a cheeseburger, but instead of cheese, it's gravy.
Yeah.
Like, dude, when
literally,
I will never do. Okay, so again, like I've referred to this a lot on the podcast, and I don't mean to beat this to death, but I grew up like really poor, and so when we had like the same meals on rotation, if I went to my father's house growing up, so my parents were divorced, if I'd go to his house, I had like one of three things, and it was either fucking Salisbury steak, hamburger helper, or like mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Those are like, I had 3 meal options, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
I'm sure like 1 in every 10 was something other than those 3, but everything else was those 3 fucking things.
Well, that's like, we used to go to my grandma's house and she'd be like, you guys want breakfast? And we'd be like, yeah. And breakfast was literally, she would just make a bunch of bacon or a bunch of sausage. Like that was our breakfast. Carly said Banquet is not, I Googled it because Banquet was not the brand that we had. We had Encore.
We had Banquet for sure. I had Banquet as well.
Kids Cuisines did used to slap.
The fucking Dino Nuggets, baby.
Do they still make Kids Cuisines? Because I may go get one for the meats.
Maybe.
If so, we may need to get them and just eat them on the podcast one night. That'd be hilarious. They do.
We can review some TV dinners.
You can get them. You can get them at Walmart. Let's do it. We're going to do a nostalgic food episode. We're going to get TV dinners. These Kid Cuisines, Lunchables, fucking Hugs juice boxes.
The sad thing about it, and I was just going to reference Hugs, is that I had a Hug as an adult, and it was so bad.
they're like 0 calorie.
Yeah, but it's just
They
like
have no sugar in them.
artificial.
Yeah,
I think
it's
fake sugar.
It is. It's
And
all
just
artificial
chemicals.
sweeteners. Yeah.
They taste so bad.
Yeah.
But I will say too, though, that oh crap! Now I totally lost my train of thought. When I was in college, this is what I was actually gonna say. When I was in college, I had a buddy, and we were all drinking, and he's like, "Anybody want some like drunk snacks?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure. What do you got?" And he's like, "Oh, I got a whole bag of Dino Nuggets in the freezer." And we're like,
fuck yeah.
"How old are you?" He's like, "What, man? They're Dino Nuggets. Like, who doesn't fucking love Dino Nuggets?"
Exactly.
And there was like 6 grown men sitting around a pizzazz eating fucking Dino Nuggets.
That's
just
sick.
Straight off the pizzazz. So
I love that.
that's straight out the kids cuisine menu. That guy had some for real nostalgia about fucking kids cuisine Dino Nuggets for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I talked about kids cuisines like 2 weeks ago with Jess's siblings. I was like, I'm going to stop making you guys nice dinners every time you guys come over. I'm just going to give you guys kid cuisines. And they were like, what are those? And I was like, I'm going to punch both of you in the face right now.
You know what's sad too is, and this is like a bit of a, I don't know, like a throwback, if you will, but there's the, what are those like TV dinners that they did that were branded for men?
Oh, the Hungry Man?
Hungry Man.
Hungry Man.
Dinners. And they're like 10 times the portion of everything else or whatever. And it's like
more protein.
It's literally like a half of a scoop more of food. Yeah. There's like nothing in there.
There's nothing special about it.
You paid like $3 or $4 more for him at the time. And it's like literally nothing. Just freaking garbage.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Oh,
Hungry Man.
Yeah, I don't want to take up too much time, but yeah, I just wanted to. I brought up kids' cuisines like 2 weeks ago, so I wanted to talk about it because it triggered something in my head where I was like, I haven't had one of those in 20 years, but it feels like it's been way more recent than that.
Yeah, yeah. The time is weird, man. Time is weird.
Time is so fucking weird.
Sometimes it flies, and sometimes it just fucking feels like it takes forever. Okay, I will move on to my topic then, and my last one is super simple, so don't worry about taking some time up. I actually was scrolling through Reddit, and this topic has been sitting in my queue of topics for a while because I think I saw this scrolling Reddit like maybe a few weeks ago, probably right before we did our break-in podcast. And somebody posted a question, and I was like, you know what? That's an interesting question. It is a stupid fucking question and a hypothetical question that probably doesn't merit a discussion. But here we are, and we're going to discuss it. Jake, if aliens came to Earth and landed right in front of you, you're the chosen one. Jake, representative of planet Earth, and they said to you, take me to your leader. Who are you taking them to?
Oh, that's a good question. I got to think about this one. There's a lot of ways this could go.
So this is one of those ones where it's like, I can think of a lot of wrong answers.
Yeah.
Like, do I really want to take him to the president of the United States?
Mm-mm.
Depends on which one it is, but like, I don't know, man.
Usually no.
But also, if you take it out to a higher Zoom level, like, he's just the United States leader. Who is the leader of us?
Yeah, who is the leader of humanity?
Of all humans. Who do you take the aliens to?
Oh.
And then they're like sitting there and they're like, bro, I'm going to probe you if you don't take me to your leader. You need to tell me who the hell is leading you people.
Maybe I want to be probed, Kyle.
Maybe you do want to be probed.
I don't know. We'll find out. Carly says Taylor Swift.
Swift.
Not a bad call, honestly. God, who is our leader?
Who's the leader? Who are you taking him to?
Oh,
you know what I think I wanted to do, or I would want to do? I think I would, if I was smart enough to think on my feet, which it took some thinking to get to this conclusion. I would want to take him to the most obscure person that I could possibly think of and be like, yo, this is our leader, and just have them think that we were an absolute clusterfuck, right? Like,
yeah.
I think that I would take them straight to Flavor Flav. I think that's my pick.
Oh, I have my answer.
Okay.
I'm taking him to Bert Kreischer.
Bert Kreischer. That's a good one.
He's going to tell
one.
He's going to tell the story about his have you ever heard the story about how he knew 2 tongueless guys growing up?
Yeah.
2 guys without tongues, tongueless Brett and
yeah. He's got some good ones, but I feel like, if can you just imagine, like, if you think of Flavor of Love, right? Like, back to that show. Did you ever watch that show?
Yeah.
Just the absolute absurdity and like the horrific trashiness that was that show. and you take him to Flava Flav, and yeah, he's just like Flava Flav, and they're just
He's
like,
wearing the
what
clock.
the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, he'd
Speaking
be
of
up
Devil,
there.
dude, you weren't there with me that year, but the first time I ever went to Riot Fest, Flavor Flav performed live.
That's amazing.
Was wearing a giant clock,
I love that.
and he was just as obscure on stage as he is in any TV show. Freaking wild, dude. Britney Spears is another just absolute perfect one.
That's a great answer.
They walk up and she starts fucking shaving her head right in front of him. Pulls out the fucking crack pipe and it's just like, let's fucking dance.
Let's party.
Let me turn on the TikTok. Go live.
Oh my God. There's so many answers that would just be hilarious to see.
Yeah.
Like I almost would take him to Donald Trump just to see how that whole interaction would go. I know more about aliens than any alien ever did.
I've met more aliens than anybody has ever met on planet Earth.
You're an alien? I'm not an alien. Are you?
I just think that I think if I was in the moment, I would take it way too literally, and like I would be so panicky that I would just be like, "Go to the president."
We're going to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Oh, dude, Morgan Freeman. Maybe that's the right answer.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Morgan Freeman might be the right leader.
Sam
Keanu
Elliott.
fucking Reeves.
Ooh, that's a
Take
good
him
one.
straight to Keanu.
Oh, I wish Robin Williams. If Robin Williams was still alive, I'd take him right there.
Make sure when you take him to Keanu and you put him in front of Keanu too, that you like put the Matrix on in the background.
Yeah, you just go.
So
He's the one.
Have you? This just happened. This happened yesterday. He's dancing around in the Matrix.
This was live streamed, guys.
Who's my leader? What do you mean? Do you know we're in the Matrix right now? Do you have any idea that you're plugged in?
Oh God,
That'd be good.
I would introduce him to Uncle Laser. If you don't know, you should know. Maybe the single most hilarious personality I've ever met in my entire life. Like imagine the epitome of a drunk guy on coke from Louisiana. Okay. I think I basically just described his entire personality. Theo Von would be a good one.
Sam Jackson would be intimidating for the aliens, that's for sure.
Nick Cage would be hilarious.
Nicolas Cage would be a good one, but he has to be in like. Have you seen the montage of? Is the montage? Is that the right word? Have you seen? No, that can't be the right word. Am I tripping right now? Yeah, but is a montage the same thing?
It's not quite the same.
Anyway, have you seen the one of Nicolas Cage and the fact that he screams in every movie that he's ever been in?
Yeah.
The beast! The beast! He's just fucking screaming. You should just take him and he has to be wearing a leather jacket because that's like a key thing for Nicolas Cage from like half of his fucking movies. Got to be in the leather jacket and he has to just start fucking screaming some random shit. Aliens!
We just
oh my God. Randy from Trailer Park Boys.
Yes.
Or Leahy. Fucking Leahy. You walk up, he's just drunker than shit. And he's like, fuck out my trailer park. You want to go rob the fucking...
I'm drunk enough to know what I'm doing, or I'm sober enough to know what I'm doing, and just drunk enough to enjoy it.
Yep.
Cheers, ladies and genitals. Yep. I would introduce him to... without context, I would just take him to Chris Evans, and I'd just be like...
Which Chris Evans?
This is Captain America.
Oh, okay.
He's our leader.
But he has to be wearing the outfit, and they have to he has superpowers?
100%.
Again, you'd put like Marvel on in the background. Like,
Liam Hemsworth dressed as Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Downey Jr. Also not a bad one.
So we take them to the team that is Marvel, like that team.
Yep.
And be like, these are our leaders. Now fuck off. They'll kill you. Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, that'd be another good one.
Jonah Hill, I feel like would be... or not Jonah Hill
would be interesting.
Seth Rogen. He would just get them high.
Both of them.
Seth Rogen would get them really high, and his laugh would just be...
I think if you had a really stoned Matthew McConaughey, that'd be really good too. Have you listened to Green Lights yet? Or read it?
No.
I can't tell you enough times to listen to... It's Matthew McConaughey's life story, narrated by Matthew McConaughey, if you listen to the audiobook. And it is an entertaining as shit book to listen to. Carly recommended it to me. I listened to it. It was great. But he is an entertaining motherfucker. And I think he could definitely sit there with his like Texas high sounding guy. Just really entertain some aliens.
Ooh, Adam Sandler, but make Adam Sandler go through every character he's ever done.
just like every time he leaves the room, he comes back in a different.
Yeah, so like
outfit,
he starts as Billy Madison, he comes back as Happy Gilmore, then he goes to Hubie from
dude from
Hubie's
Click,
Halloween.
whatever his real name was.
Yeah. Just all of the Adam Sandler characters.
Yeah.
The drunk dad from My Best Friend or whatever it's called.
Do we skip Jack and Jill?
No, I feel like it's worth it.
He has to be both of them. He
Yep.
comes in as Jack and then Jill. Yeah.
We bring him to Marlon Wayans and I'm blanking on the other guy's name from White Girls.
Oh yeah. That'd be good.
Dressed up as White Girls.
What's the main dude that the yoked dude from White Chicks?
I'm blanking. Oh, Marlon Wayans. Oh yeah, Terry Crews.
Terry Crews. Thank you.
Oh,
Terry Crews would be a fun one.
there's so many good answers here.
I feel like there's a lot of like. I feel like there's no way that you could take this seriously, right? Like unless you panic and take him to the president, you have to take him to something that's going to be like
but
the most absurd shit.
I wouldn't. I would
I think
100%. I would take him to some absurd shit.
If aliens actually for real landed in front of me, I might panic.
I think I'd probably. I don't think I
guess
would.
it depends on how they like introduce themselves to me. Like,
Yeah.
are they being super chill, or are they like, I'm going to murder you unless you take me to your leader right now?
Yeah, I also need to know what aliens we're working with. Are we working with like the stereotypical like gray alien, or are these like the alien like aliens from like Alien versus Predator? I need to know because I'm gonna react very differently.
Very true. We need to talk more about aliens. I think
Aliens.
we'll discuss this another time. That's all I got.
Aliens.
Stupid topic to end the day. Yeah,
No, I love
that was
it.
a semi good interpretation or whatever.
Imitation.
Thank you. God damn, words are escaping me. Imitation.
Words am hard.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for another episode of Two Average Husbands. That's Jake. I'm Kyle. He's on Twitter at Perry_FF. We are live in the Discord for chat, YouTube to chat, and Twitch to chat. You can watch it live on X, but we are not there, so feel free to do that. Also, merits mentioning that apparently everybody that is a member of Twitter now X is going to have to pay to use the service moving forward. Elon came out and said that he's going to charge every user, so good luck with that, all of you nerds on Twitter. If you want to follow Two Average Husbands, we are on Twitter at @2AVGHusbands. And then if you come back to the YouTube, please hit the like and subscribe and join us live. And then on Instagram at @2AVGHusbands as well. If you want to not be cool and join us live and listen to it later, which is also kind of cool, anywhere that you can stream a podcast, you can listen to us. And if for whatever reason the streaming service that you use doesn't have the Two Average Husbands podcast, let us know. And I'm sure Jake can figure it out and I will make him do it instead of me. Other than that, that's all I got. Thank you guys for joining us. Jake, you can close this out.
Kyle covered most of it as always. If you want to see us drink anything, let us know what you want to see us drink. If you want to see us hear us talk about anything, let us know what you want to hear us talk about. This has been another episode of Two Average Husbands. We will see you all in like 3 weeks. And don't forget to tell somebody that you love them.
Peace.